Hello, savvy investors. Are you ready to unleash a strategy so powerful and effective that it's like having your own crystal ball? Introducing the dogs of the TSX, a strategy that just might be your own financial revolution. This strategy is inspired by the dogs of the Dow strategy that's been very popularized in the US. The dogs of the TSX is a strategy that's very simple, but a very potent approach to dividend investing. Imagine being able to beat the TSX performance consistently and using the TSX 60 as your benchmark with relative ease. This isn't just about outperforming an index. It's about outsmarting the market. And with everything I've said on this channel, is that even possible? Can you really outsmart the market? Well, you're about to find out in this video, so you want to stay tuned. The dogs of the TSX strategy has been a consistent, proven frontrunner when compared to the TSX. And you're not going to just take my word for it. I'm going to give you all the stats that you need to know that backs up that claim. Can the strategy really beat the TSX consistently with relative ease? I'm going to show you all the stats that you need to know a little bit later in this video. So if you're hungry for success in the stock market or just starting an investment journey, make sure you smash that subscribe button and get ready to embark on a financial journey that might lead you to the pinnacle of success. All right, that's enough fluff about the strategy. Let's break down and get into the nitty-gritty details. So what is this strategy all about? Well, this is called the dogs of the TSX, or Beat the TSX Strategy, or BTSX for short. It's a smart but not overly complicated strategy that you're about to see. Essentially, we take a look at the TSX 60, and if you don't know what that is, it's essentially a list of the largest 60 companies in Canada. And we take that list, sort it by the top 10 best dividend payers, and we pick that top 10 from this list. And every year, we refresh this list, check who the top dogs are, and that's your portfolio. So essentially, you're picking the cream of the dividend payers from this TSX 60 list. And now here's what I'm going to tell you is the secret sauce about the strategy. When you think about it, when a solid company isn't getting much love from the stock market or they're hit with some near-term bad news, what happens to the stock price? It goes down. When the stock price goes down, the dividend yield goes up. It's an inverse relationship. And that inverse relationship is what dividend investors can take advantage of, like you and I, because we want that juicy dividend. We want that juicy dividend yield. We're not looking for those yield traps that offer 10, 12% yield and there's a risk of a cut. We're looking for somewhat reliability in dividends, essentially meaning more dividends for less cash up front. And there's a balance between how much cash you're willing to give up front to get dividends in return. Just like with everything else in life, there's always a fine balance between risk and reward. So for example, when you take a look at the strategy and you have a company like Bell Canada, who has been hit with tremendous bad news recently and their stock price has fallen. But because their stock price has fallen, the yield has skyrocketed to above 8%. Sometimes it just happens that you have these large behemoth companies that have a history of paying solid dividends, but they're just temporarily out of the favor of the stock market. But that may be good news for us because we get the most dividend bang for our buck. With the Beat the TSX strategy, we're not just looking to follow the crowd. We're looking for those moments where great, amazing companies that have a history of paying great dividends are temporarily on sale. We grab them and ride the wave right back up as it bounces back. It's like being smart shoppers, but for stocks. Now, something to keep in mind, not all high-flying dividend stocks will make this list. The real champs that are beating the TSX often have lower yields, so they miss out on the top 10 list of Beat the TSX strategy. By sticking to the Beat the TSX playbook, you're potentially building up your portfolio for success by bringing in these high-yielding dividend all-stars. But on top of everything else, just keep in mind that investing is your personal road trip. Not every play in the book or not every playbook is going to fit your style, but that's okay. Investing is your own unique road trip. It's super important that you do your homework before you put your hard-earned cash online. Get to know the ins and the outs, the pros and the cons, the risks and the rewards of different game plans. What makes sense for you? What makes sense for your investing journey? What makes sense for your goals, your time horizon? Because at the end of the day, you want your money working as hard as possible for you, not the other way around. Now let's break the Beat the TSX strategy down into actionable steps. So after you're done watching this video, you know exactly what you need to do to implement the strategy. I'm going to guide you through the entire process, step by step, and show you how you can pick the best high-yielding blue chip stocks for this Beat the TSX strategy. Starting off with step number 1. First, you're going to start off by taking the list of TSX 60 stocks, and you're going to sort this list by the forward dividend yield. What this does, it helps you identify which stocks are currently offering the highest potential returns through dividends. Step number 2, you're going to invest in the top 10 stocks from the list you just sorted. And you're going to take your investment dollars and divide that equally along this top 10 list, because this approach is the key to balancing out your risk. Step number 3, monitor your portfolio and keep an eye on your investments. If any of the stocks on this list cut their dividends, you're going to act swiftly. You're going to replace that stock with the next one on this list with the same approach by sorting with the highest dividend yield. Step number 4, and this may be the hardest step, it is patience. Patience is a virtue. You're going to hold these positions for a year because this will allow them to bounce back up as we talked about. And what it also does is that it avoids over trading, because the last thing you want to do with this strategy is be way too overly active and move things around. So essentially, hold the line, hold the positions for a year, unless what we talked about was step 3, unless there's a dividend cut. Step number 5, as the year concludes, now is the time to act. You're going to take the TSX 60 once again and sort it by the forward yield, just like we did in step 1. You're now going to take the new top 10 list, compare with your list, and make the necessary swaps so your list is now matching the latest and the greatest TSX top 10 stocks by yield. What this does is that it ensures that your yield and your risk are optimized for the strategy. By following these steps, you are not just investing in the market, you are strategically playing your positions for a yield-optimized portfolio built for success. For more detailed analysis and for all the financial models that I've built for investors like you, make sure to check out the description below. Hit the like button so you can stay with me on this investment journey of ours. So now that we've talked about what the Beat the TSX strategy is, we've talked about how to actually implement the strategy in 5 simple steps. Now let's take a look at what the list for 2024 actually looks like, because I have done the work for you. I have already taken the TSX 60 list. I've already done the sorting for you. So you already have the list ready to go as soon as you finish watching this video. Let's take a look. So as you can see on screen, I have the TSX 60 filtered for the top 10 highest yielding stocks. So for 2024, you can see Bell Canada, which has a close to 9% yield at the top of the list, followed by TC Energy, Enbridge, Algonquin, TELUS, round out the top 5. The bottom 5 on this list, we have Scotiabank, Emera, Power Corporation, CIBC, and Pembina Pipeline. As you can see from this list, these are your small cap, mid cap companies. These are your large companies on the TSX that have been around forever and have a large history of paying reliable dividends. For example, you can see the largest company on this list is Enbridge. They have been around for a very long time, and their market capitalization is worth over $100 billion. We have players like the big banks that have been paying dividends since the 1800s, like Scotiabank, like CIBC. You are covered in different sectors. You have the communications sector, you have the energy sector, utilities, and financial services. So you can see from this list, you're getting a mix of different stocks, but they all have one thing in common. They pay large dividends. So if you are a yield-hungry investor who wants a yield-optimized portfolio, this is a strategy for you to consider. Now that you have this list, what's next? I don't want to leave you just hanging out to dry over here. Like I said at the start of this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about the strategy, step by step, and guide you through the entire process. So now that you have the list of the top 10 for 2024, how do you actually invest your dollars into this strategy? So let's assume you have $10,000 to start off with a strategy. And again, it doesn't have to be $10,000. It could be $1,000. It could be whatever you want to put. Concept is the same. Just change the numbers around. So now, taking a look at this list once again. If you have $10,000, what you're going to do is essentially invest $1,000 in each of these companies that's on this list. Bell Canada, you're going to invest $1,000. Algonquin, you're going to invest $1,000. Emera, Power Corporation, doesn't matter. Each of these companies, they're going to start off with your initial investment of $1,000 because we have $10,000 to invest. So for example, with Bell Canada, that'll get you 21 shares. TC Energy, that'll get you 19 shares. Now, this is based on the current price at the time of recording of this video. Once you make the purchases that I've listed here, you have your $10,000 invested into the market, your average yield for this portfolio is close to 6.5%. And that's pretty much it. Once you have executed the steps, this process, you're pretty much set for a year. You're going to check back a year from now. Typically, the recommendation is you check every January 1st of each year to keep the game plan consistent. Now, this strategy is great and all if you're looking for a yield optimized portfolio. You're looking to invest in Canada. 6.5%, not bad. And again, that's just the dividend yield. I'm not even talking about the capital appreciation you can expect in this portfolio as you ride the wave back up. There are certain risks that are associated with the strategy that I want you to be aware of before you put your hard-earned dollars on the line. Let's talk about that. The first risk I'm going to talk about is essentially a lack of diversification, because the whole premise of the strategy is based on you putting your money into 10 stocks. That means that each stock is going to make up roughly 10% of your overall portfolio. And not just that, it's 10 stocks, all based in Canada. Canada's economy makes up roughly 4% of the entire global economy. So if you just choose these 10 stocks from Canada, you're limiting yourself to a few sectors. You're limiting yourself to other areas that you're not going to find in Canada. So you're missing out on geographic diversification as well as sector diversification. But if you're not interested in going outside of Canada for your investment dollars, if you're okay with limiting yourself to a certain subgroup of sectors, then this strategy might be for you. But it's important to be aware of what the benefits and the downside risks are, again, all before you invest your dollars. Risk number 2, before you embark on this journey of investing, not just the Beat the TSX strategy, for any investing approach, you have to keep in mind the tax implications. Frequent buying and selling of securities within a full portfolio periodically can lead to tax inefficiencies. What that means is that you have to be careful when it comes to your strategy, because you could be paying more tax than necessary when it comes to capital gains. And especially if you're going to use this strategy, part of the strategy involves around taking a look at the top 10 list of the TSX each year, or if there's a cut in dividends, and then swapping picks. And depending on how frequently you're doing that, this could lead to potential paying of capital gains more than necessary, which can cut down on your total return. So just be very careful when implementing this strategy in your non-registered taxable accounts, because you don't want to pay more tax than you need to. Smart investing isn't just about taking a look at the dividend yield. It isn't just looking at the stock price. It's a overall wholesale approach. What you have to consider is the total return, and that includes the tax implications. Risk number 3. While this strategy has outperformed the TSX in certain periods, it's very important to remember that past performance is not an indicator of future results. Timing is everything, and timing plays a crucial role in the returns you might experience. Because market conditions can change, macroeconomics change, microeconomics change. We're living in a world that's constantly dynamic. And because of these changes, what worked well in the past may not work well tomorrow, and it's something to be aware of and keep in mind as you invest your dollars. So then, with the world constantly changing, what do you do? How do you invest? As an informed investor, it's vital to weigh the risks of any strategy against their potential rewards. Stay educated, stay vigilant, and make decisions that align with your long-term financial goals. And don't lose sight of that compass, because that will be your North Star. So as we wrap up our discussion around the Beat the TSX strategy, let's take a look and reflect on its track record. Historically, the Beat the TSX strategy has outpaced the TSX Composite Index, boasting an annual average advantage of over 2%. And the cornerstone of this outperformance, well, it's all about uncovering the value among Canada's hefty dividend payers. The process is relatively straightforward. You start off with a TSX 60, sort by the top 10 biggest dividend payers, refresh the list, rinse and repeat every single year. So now that you know what the strategy is about, who really stands to benefit from this strategy? Well, if you are in pursuit of high yields from some of Canada's largest firms, this method could align with your goals. However, it's crucial to note that growth companies won't be part of this equation, because you're focusing on yield optimization, not necessarily growth optimization. There is a difference. And remember, when it comes to investing, don't lose sight of total return, which is capital appreciation plus dividends equals total return. For those of you looking for a hands-off approach, looking to maximize total return with as much automation as possible, then indexing might be more of your speed, which is not a bad thing, which is a completely okay strategy or use because it's your journey. Pick the strategy that makes sense for you. In fact, I've talked about this hands-off approach of just picking one ETF and writing that all the way through your investing journey. You can watch this video on this topic right here because I uncover what it takes to just invest in one ETF through your entire investment journey. It can be that simple as well. So in conclusion, if it's income you're after, this strategy might just make sense for you because it can show you the top income stocks from the large dividend-paying companies that exist in Canada. So whether you're a seasoned investor or whether you are just starting your investment journey, I'm here to help navigate and guide you through your financial journey. All you have to do is hit that like button, that subscribe button, turn that bell notification icon so you don't miss out on future videos, and hit that thanks button if you like this video and want to see more content just like this. I really appreciate any and all support provided for my content. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out the exclusive offers I have for you in the description below. I've built out various financial models from the ground up for investors like you to help support you on your financial journey so you are not alone. There's a ton of support out there. Again, check out the description down below. Until next time, I'll talk to you in the comment section.